Today on the Diz List, we discuss the top 5 things for your kid-free day at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 35, where we discuss the top 5 things for your kid-free day at Walt Disney World.
Kids eat free? Is that what it?
I don't think that happens free anywhere.
Okay. So have you ever, I think you have done a kid-free day at Disney.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
My wife and I did a kid-free day at Epcot during Festival of the Holidays.
Yeah. I really want to do Festival of the Holidays. I think all the festivals are great, but that one in particular is one that I would love to do. So.
We've only done 2. The one we've always wanted to do the most was...
Just ended, right?
Festival of the Arts.
Ending soon?
Yes. The farts.
Yeah. The number of people who think they're so funny by calling it the farts. Yeah. And it's like...
Well, I don't think I'm funny. Yeah. I'm just referring to what
everyone else calls it. I know.
But yeah, I'm really interested in doing that someday. But Festival of the Arts just comes around the same time that we really can't get time off of work. So that's a tough one.
I honestly cannot believe how many people think Disney is like a kids destination, right? So when I talk to my friends about Disney, the ones that aren't Disney people, you know what I'm saying? They are shocked when I'm like, well, you could do this. Wait, you can drink at Disney? Yeah. And then you should do this. Wait, you can do that at Disney? There's like really good restaurants? Yeah. Like some of the best you're ever going to eat in. I just think it's funny that like people who are uninitiated probably think that like Disney is just for families and you know the number of Disney adults, which I know they get a bad rap and some of them deserve it, but the whole like there's a whole culture beyond just the going with your kids to see Cinderella's castle. I
think we count as Disney adults though.
Yeah. I mean,
is there another word for the category? Because now Disney adults has become like this kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
What do you call someone that really likes Disney but is not as crazy? I'm a little crazy, but I'm not like out of control.
How about age enhanced Disney fan?
Sure. I like it.
I don't, because Disney adult has this connotation right now, and I don't know why. Well, I know why, because some of these influencers that are like being rude in the parks, not all of them, and it's kind of like the people who yell at Epcot having IP. There's fewer of them than there are of us, but they're louder, and so I think that people get annoyed with that. But like there's a difference between wanting to wear your Disney bounding outfit and whatnot, which is a whole culture. I don't know if you've ever gotten into that, the whole Disney bounding thing, but like. There's a difference in doing that and then being the Disney adult that like Diz Twitter loses their mind about. So I don't know. I'm excited for this episode because it's going to enlighten some of our listeners. I think that maybe only think of Disney as a kid-friendly place. I also think it's interesting that we have a friend who has been to Disney a few times and never been with kids.
Yeah. You're right.
So our friend Mark, who's probably listening right now, he and his wife have gone to Disney multiple times, but never with kids. So he only does kids only trips. So that or kids adults only trips, kid free trips.
My wife and I don't think she was my fiance at that point, but we went together in 2002, I think.
Cool.
So I think I was still kind of considered a kid at that point. I was maybe, 23 or something.
Welcome back to the Diz List. Debbie Gibson. How about Debbie Gibson?
I hate to tell you this.
What?
She doesn't go by Debbie. She wants to be called Deborah Gibson now.
Really?
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
She should tell Spotify.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
and Apple Music and
I
everywhere
can't
else.
remember what it was. She was on like The Apprentice or one of those reality shows, and she wanted to go by Deborah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like John Carlos Stanton.
sure.
He was Mike Stanton. So
Okay. Wait, was he?
yeah, yeah,
So, my baseball. I at least knew it was a baseball player.
yeah,
My knowledge is very limited.
yeah. So
Nick knows a lot about baseball. That's
his-
not my expertise, but I
his
know
rookie cards are Mike Stanton.
That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So this particular episode, I don't know how much will line up. Honestly, I think
There's
we'll line
so
up a
many
couple
options.
Yeah.
Well, I know one or two. Well, I don't think we'll line up. I think we'll have similar answers,
Yeah.
not necessarily in the same order.
Yeah, not necessarily. I personally like. There's so many things you can do on a kids-free trip or a kids-free day. So I'm interested to hear what you've got on your list. So why don't we just jump right into it?
Yeah, and the ones I have towards the top are ones that I have. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I've done most of these things.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump right in. My number 5 is something we got to do last time, but we did this with the kids. But I think if you have younger kids that it's hard for them to stay up really late. I mean, our kids are good. They will cruise to midnight,
Yeah.
But most families do not have that opportunity or luxury, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
So what a lot of the parks will do, Magic Kingdom and Epcot definitely do this on a regular basis, is they have extended hours for guests staying at certain hotels or resorts, but then they also have the different parties. And if the parks are going to be open later, generally you're probably going to see less kids, and that would be an opportunity for kind of more of a kid-free evening, an adult evening to kind of just enjoy and have it be less kid-centric and more of kind of like almost like a fun date to go to the parks and to do that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
my number 5 is late night at the parks. Do you have that on your list at all?
I don't.
Okay. So that was something that we got to do. By we, I'd say our family and Nick was with us, and our kids, they're night owls. They were right there with us. But I think it'd be cool. I mean, we were there till 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah. When I say there, I mean Magic Kingdom. We were at Magic Kingdom till 1 a.m. And again, not a lot of kids can stay up that late. That would be kind of a fun, kid-free thing to do, to try to hit up all those rides and, just kind of have fun. And was there anywhere in the Magic Kingdom where you could have an adult beverage that night?
Not that I'm aware of, other than to like if you had dinner reservations.
Okay. What places in the Magic Kingdom serve alcohol besides Be Our Guest?
You got Crystal Palace.
Okay. With a meal.
Right. And you've got Skipper Canteen.
Okay.
So they don't have any like, you don't go and get like a beer or something at Magic. It's all with meals.
So it would be something that's more just kind of like having fun instead of, having a night of partying with quotes.
Yeah, you're not going there and getting, having drinks.
Right.
Unless you have a dinner reservation. But
I think this can be a lot of fun. Or any of the parties. I mean, you did Boo Bash.
Yeah.
They have the all the different holiday parties. And the reason I'm saying kid free with these things, obviously you can do them with your kids, but anything that's later at night, and I know
it might not be worth it.
And I know a lot of my friends who have younger kids who are listening, who they're probably listening going, there's no way my kid's staying up past 9. They are just out, they're toast.
Yeah, especially at Disney.
Right. So if you want to go from 9 to 1 a.m. like we did, maybe that's something you can do as a kid-free night to enjoy with you or a friend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely good for lower crowds too. And so I think that it's a good pick. Not on my list, but probably should have been on my honorable mention. It wasn't. But my number 5 is something that probably will show up on your list somewhere. But it only makes it to number 5 for me. And the reason it only makes it to number 5 is because something I actually enjoyed doing with my kids as well. But I put partaking in any of the festivals at Epcot. So like whether it be International Food and Wine, Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden, it doesn't matter what it is, right? To me, the ability to just walk around World Showcase and experiment with cuisine from different nationalities, and not even World Showcase. The rest of the park has stuff too, and I think they're moving a lot of the festival stuff to the front anyway. But
they're looking to build that pavilion kind of in the area where the old Starbucks used to be. I think that zone was supposed to be dog-eared for that the festival area.
Yeah, they're going to still do a lot of the stuff even if they aren't building the pavilion. But
and I think they want to do concerts there too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to turn this into a Debbie Gibson thing or Deborah Gibson thing, but I wonder if that's part of the plan is to bring the entertainment to the front instead of always having it back in the American pavilion.
That was the talk, but we'll see. But yeah, I think doing a festival, whether it be eating or drinking around the world in Epcot is something that, when you're talking about doing it with kids, I think it's fun. But when you're doing it with adults, I think it's a little more. First of all, it's certainly more cost effective, right? Mm-hmm. But you can relax and you don't have to worry about, well, is my kid going to even eat this? Because you know how it goes, right? A kid hears something or sees something on a menu, is like, I want that, and they try it and they're like, oh, that's not what I thought it was because it's Japanese or because it's got this flavor from Greece or whatever. You're not as at risk of wasting the money and wasting the food. I love the festivals and I love going to the festivals with my kids, but that's the only reason this is at number 5 and not higher, because it's an adults only or a kids free day activity, but it's something I enjoy doing also with my family.
Yeah. So, well, I may speak about that a little bit later
okay,
too.
That's why I didn't want to get too deep.
That's something I've partaken in before.
Yep.
I'll get back to that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. My number 4, it's kind of an interesting one, and we found a creative solution to this on our last trip because some of my children, I guess both of my children, were not interested in doing a very intense ride. So a fun thing you can do without kids is really ride any of the rides you want to do. Or let's say you have one child and your child is under the height limit and you can't go on certain rides. And I know they have rider swap.
Yeah,
I know
it's
that's
not the
part
same.
Of it too. But also sometimes that can make the kids sad. You wait in the line, you get up to the actual ride and you're like, okay, you go stand over there. We'll go have fun. Like that could be sad for a poor kid.
Yeah, I agree.
So my number 4 is maybe have a park day where you can go with friend, spouse, and we didn't specify earlier when it says kid-free day. I mean, this is things for anybody. You can go with a friend or whoever. Doesn't mean you have to have kids or not have kids. It's for anything.
It wasn't a date night thing.
Right. So you can go and do all the different intense rides. Mm-hmm. Let's say you get a park hopper and your mission is to do all the super intense rides that your kids wouldn't want to do. That would be a really fun day. Start off at whichever park you think you want to and try to hit up all 4 parks and try to do all the most intense rides that your kids would want to do.
And hear me out here. What if you did every spinner?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
That would be my worst nightmare.
We'd be passed out, headache, throwing up.
No, I don't. It's just like no. I'm talking like Triceratops spin.
Oh, I thought you meant like get on the teacups.
No. So like you start in Dino Land, you do Triceratops spin, and then you go over
and you do Aladdin,
and you do Dumbo, and you got to ride both sides of Dumbo to make it. You have to ride on every spinner ride.
Okay,
I'm kidding. That would be awful. But
yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea, right? To take advantage, especially if you have younger children, taking advantage of an adults only or a kids free day where you're able to ride the rides that you can't do with your children. And a lot of times I'm with you. Like if my children can't ride it, I'm not going to ride it. I'm not going to make them go through the whole rider swap thing. And that good on you if you do it. That's fine. It's completely. I just feel guilty. That's me.
Me too.
And so
I
end up skipping those rides. So I agree. I think that's great. If you have young children, that's a great idea for a kids free day.
So my number 4 is intense rides, riding them later, or ones with height restrictions that your children can't ride. Yeah. Having a day where you get to do all of those things.
That's a great number 4. My number 4 is something I haven't done, and I know you're probably thinking, well, wait, you haven't done it. How can you possibly put it on your list? I haven't done it because it's expensive, but it's something I really, really, really want to do, and it's a great idea for a kids' free day because it's only allowable if you're 16 years and older.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
And that is a backstage tour, like Keys to the Kingdom. So this next upcoming trip, we're doing one that is kid-friendly. We're doing the Behind the Seeds tour.
At the Land Pavilion.
Right. But the backstage tours, like the really in-depth ones, one, I think that the reasoning behind the age restriction is obvious, right? But the other thing is it makes sense why we have the age restriction in that situation, too, because of it's probably boring to hear some of the history stuff.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the kid.
Yeah, right.
I mean, your son would love he loves history.
Yeah, he'd love to hear about, what windows are for which Imagineers and stuff like that. Yeah. I get that, but not every kid would. And so a backstage tour, and I don't mean just that one. So there's some really cool like safari-based ones over in Animal Kingdom. So for me, it's a bucket list item too. I know we talked about this when we had Ear Scouts Rob on, and we talked about bucket lists. But one of my bucket list items is to do one of those backstage tours. One of the big guys. Behind the Scenes is going to be fun, but I want to do one of the there's like the Feeding the Giants or whatever, where you're like, or Dining with the Giants. I can't remember, but you're with elephants, and then you've got you're eating out in the savannah. I'm really a big fan of the history of the parks too. So going into the utilidors, are you kidding me? That'd be awesome.
It would be. Do they let civilians down there? Civilians,
non-cast members. Yeah, that's part of the Keys to the Magic Tour.
That's cool.
And honestly, if you have, this is a different thing. It's not backstage, but if you have a bunch of friends and you're going kids free, a VIP tour.
Oh yeah,
it's so expensive, right? But
every time I see a VIP tour go by, and you always know because it's a smaller group of people with a cast member pointing and talking to them. Yep. I'm always looking to see if it's somebody famous.
Yeah, and it's less and less of that now. A lot of people are utilizing it as if I buy 4 park days on my week-long trip, and I have one of those days as a VIP tour, then I'm going to get all the rides done I want to get done, and I don't need to buy a 7-day park ticket. I can buy a 4-day park ticket. And a lot of times what's happening is you're getting adults getting together as a group, paying for it together, kind of splitting the cost. So that's another one. It's not a Keys to the Magic, but, it's a different sort of a tour, if you will. So yeah, tours for me are something I think a kid-free day would lend itself to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is, it's sort of general, but you can plug it into different things, is just take a day and, sample drinks and alcohol, basically. You can do it when your kids are around, obviously. It's your personal choice, but I think a lot of times if you're with a group of people, there's, you like to have fun, you like to relax a little bit, and there's a lot of different opportunities for you to have. And 2 of my favorites that I'll mention, one obviously is at Epcot, where people will do drinking around the world, and you'll have a drink at different places. And I'll tell you, my favorite one has always been to start off and get a drink in Mexico right there. And I've told the story before. I had the one for lunch, and I got this margarita. Boy, that thing hit me hard. It hit me hard at noon. Holy cow.
Yeah.
But another one that I probably wouldn't have even thought of doing until you suggested it, and this may be on your list too, but Oga's.
Yeah.
Oga's is the Star Wars themed bar in Galaxy's Edge, which we all got to do together. It was a lot of fun. But it was in the middle of the day. You got your kids with you. We all had a drink, which is fine. But I could see that being kind of cool and a different kind of feel if you were to do that, at night with a group of friends or whatever else.
So the one issue I take with Oga's, and I get why they do it, right? But the 45-minute time limit makes it it doesn't lend itself well to doing a full-blown evening, making it an evening.
Yeah.
and it kind of lends itself to like you're gonna binge some drinks. Like I had a couple I wanted to try, so I had 45 minutes to get it done, and I got it done. But still, it was
they were stiff, but yeah,
the atmosphere in there is great, so that is a good one. But in general, yeah, finding a place to drink and hang out with some adults and just enjoy their company is certainly a good kid-free activity.
Yeah.
So I probably will mention a little bit more about that later, but not quite in the same vein.
Gotcha.
Right now, my number 3, though, is to enjoy the resort's quiet pool.
Oh, right. I didn't even think of that.
So the quiet pools, if you're a kid-free adult in Disney, yeah, it's great to go to Stormalong Bay. It's an amazing place, right? They've got the lazy river. They've got that's all wonderful. But the quiet pool is empty. There's hardly ever anyone in the quiet pool at Beach Club. There's hardly ever anyone at the quiet pool at the Poly. The quiet pools kind of lend themselves to a more laid-back way of life. The Poly is one that I really like because I think, in my opinion, the pool bar over at the quiet pool is as good of a quick service as you'll get at most hotels, and it's a better quick service bar than the one at the main pool, at the lava pool.
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
So the thing that I love about the quiet pools is that they're, like I said, they're more relaxed. And at first when I heard quiet pool in Disney, it just didn't make sense because there's no way it's quiet, right? It's Disney. It's always going to be loud. It's going to be packed. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, I think the most packed I saw was one time at Beach Club. Stormalong Bay had closed because there was lightning in the area. And so, of course, there's lifeguards at those. But at the quiet pools, there's sometimes not lifeguards. And so it's like a swim at your own risk kind of a thing. And like there were people in there because, don't worry about it. It's Florida lightning. It's way off. It's not coming this way. And I'm like,
Florida lightning.
I'm like, yeah, I'm cool without getting stuck in any kind of lightning, whether it's Florida or not. I'm not getting in this pool. So that was one time where I did see that pool get a little bit more packed.
It's just called the Oasis.
Yeah. No, the Oasis is the one over by the quiet pool. Yeah. They've got good food, a good food selection and stuff. So I think it's a great way to relax because the families are going to gravitate toward the attractions in the bigger pools. So for me, that is an area where it's going to be less likely to have to deal with children. Not that. Look, I don't have a problem with kids. I have my own kids, so I don't have a problem with it. But if you're looking to relax, you're not going to relax at Stormalong Bay.
No.
So being able to go and sit at the quiet pool, and every resort, I think every deluxe resort has one, has a quiet pool as well. So that's my number 3 is enjoy the quiet pool, enjoy the pool bars at the quiet pool or around the quiet pool, and the food. And it's usually a great way to just get a quick bite to eat, relax, and enjoy the sun, enjoy the pool. You can cool off, and it's a great non-park activity too.
So when you're looking to book your resort, take a look and see if that particular one has a quiet pool or something that's similar to that. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 2, I think, I don't know, we may match up on this one. I'm just going to see. My number 2 is actually something that is not at a hotel. It's not at any of the parks. It is Disney Springs.
Yeah, we don't match.
Nope. So my number 2 is dinner and a movie at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
2 things I have done before. Now, my anniversary has fallen many times during our trip. Right. Probably 2 or 3 different trips we've gone on has been during our anniversary. Mm-hmm. So it was nice that I have family there. Family would spend time with the kids and take the kids out for pizza, and my wife and I would drive in and we would get like a nice dinner there. And we went to Frontera one time. I really liked that Mexican food place. It was great. Mm-hmm. And then we did a movie there separately, and I'd never done a movie at Disney Springs before. And one of our most recent trips, we went with the kids, but we went to go see, to kind of put it in perspective, we went to see Black Widow. And I'll tell you, I don't remember the exact price, but I remember looking at that receipt, and boy, it was way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So whatever the cost is for your AMC where you live, the cost was comparable to that. I mean, and we were very impressed because a lot, when you go to Disney, it's double price for everything pretty much. So I think a really great option if you have a kid-free day or just a period of time where they're off with a friend or whatever else is going on, check out the different restaurants that are over at Disney Springs. There's something for everybody, whether you are gluten-free like we are, or you're a foodie like Nick's whole family. They're all about it, and he has a lot of great recommendations he's made on different episodes before if you want to listen back. And go see a movie afterward. Actually, we've seen two there at two different theaters. One of the other theaters we went to is at the far end, way down, kind of where they do Cirque du Soleil. I don't know if it's a different theater or they're connected.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we went in the entrance kind of over by the bowling alley. So we saw, what's the Harley Quinn movie called? We saw that there long time ago. Suicide Squad. We saw that there. And then we saw...
was it that or Birds of Prey?
Suicide Squad, the first one.
All right.
Yeah, we saw that there. So dinner and a movie at Disney Springs, you can throw in a little shopping. Maybe after the dinner, you go out, get ice cream somewhere, go to one of those nice little bakeries and get a snack and head home. What a great night. I wish I could do that tonight.
So
I'd love to. I wish.
I just looked it up. Adult tickets are like $15, which is a little bit more expensive than maybe your hometown.
Yeah,
but
I remember it being a little cheaper than that, but that's not horrible.
That's not when you consider, like, it's also dine-in. You can eat there.
Oh, yeah, that was true. They had menus you could eat. Yeah, it was kind of cool. I've only ever been to one other theater where we ordered food during the movie, and that was when a group of us were in New Jersey for a show, and we stopped and saw a movie because we had like an afternoon off. And my friend Chris, who I was with, just ordered a beer.
I think they should do that more.
Yeah.
I would like that more.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's a great one. I've never done a movie over there. I've never thought of doing it. There's a lot of stuff. It's not on my list, but along those same lines is like going and bowling over there. Mm-hmm. Is another idea. For a good adults. I mean, obviously you can bring your kids there too, but that'd be kind of a cool date night kind of thing. That'd be great. Yeah,
I forgot what the name of the place was, but
Splitsville.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So my number 2 is kind of where we were when I had said we'd talk about this a little bit more later.
Yeah,
is that I think for a good kids-free day, and this is now getting into like the date night sort of a thing.
Sure,
but dinner or lounges, like a very nice splurge dinner or lounges, right? And what I mean by lounges is, so you've got like Tamboo Lounge outside of Ohana. That's great. But you've also got places like Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom. And you've also, this is the big one, for me anyway, is La Cava. Like, I'm not going into La Cava with my kids, right? And I know I can. And I know I can order some drinks in there. And I know that they've got some bites to eat and whatnot. But I'm just not bringing my kids in there. And look, this is not me judging. It's just, if I want to sit down and sip tequila, I don't want to have to worry about much of anything the rest of the night. I want to have a good extra añejo tequila. Let me sip on that, have a couple of those neat, and have a small bite to eat and then head out and not have to worry about my children. So places like La Cava, and I bring my kids to this next place, and I've got to tell you, it's amazing. Baseline Tap House over in Hollywood Studios. They have like a soda drink that's like refillable that they let it's not soda, it's like soda water with like a flavoring, like a hibiscus flavoring. And my son loved it, and he does not like soda.
Now that's across from where they do the Frozen show?
Yeah, kind of.
You were trying to describe to me where it was. So it's near, probably a better marker is the big dinosaur in the water.
Gertie?
Is it near Gertie?
So I'll pull up a map so you can do your north, south, east, west.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of the way I work with Disney. Is I create this map in my head.
No,
and
I
where
get it.
does it plug in and all these places? So if I walk in to Hollywood Studios and I kind of go down the main drag there, that's not Hollywood Boulevard, maybe.
Right?
And then I go left, right? Correct?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say left, right. I go left, correct? Question mark.
Correct.
And I start going towards Indiana Jones. It's there.
So it's between. So you know where Commissary Lane is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the corner there. So if you're thinking where the Muppets, so like where the fountain is, you know where the fountain is, like the Miss Piggy fountain.
Yes,
It's
I know
kinda
what you're
like-
talking about.
I don't know how to describe it.
You
It's
went
like you draw a
there.
line.
You went there, and we went to Pizza Rizzo or something.
Correct. It's
Oh,
kind
no.
of it's kind of across from.
Star Tours.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's where it's at.
I was thinking of that other place that you told me that had the pretzels.
Well, they have pretzels here. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Okay, I'm completely turned around then. I thought there was something right by Gertie that you were describing.
I mean, it's kind of by Gertie. It's like there's a building between it
Not
and Gertie.
really. It's around the corner, so it's not by Gertie at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
So anyway, that something along the lines of a splurgy dinner, or going to some place where you're not typically going to bring your kids. I'm thinking like Raglan Road at night,
Yeah.
right, where it's kind of raucous, or Abracadabra over on the boardwalk, Baseline, Tap House, La Cava, or getting dinner at a really pricey, like a Victoria and Albert's or a Takumite. I think that those things would be a great way to spend an evening with your loved one. And yeah, they don't have to. It doesn't have to be a date night to do these things, but I think it would be a great date night.
Well, it changes a lot with or without kids,
Yeah. Well, like you're not bringing your kid inside of Trader Sam's, probably.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
no, not that I know of.
I mean, for me, I think that spending the evening going around and it could be a drinking around the world situation for sure, but for me, it's more of like find a nice relaxed spot that evokes like you feel like an adult, right? You feel like it's a break from the kids, and that's not to say that it's a bad thing if people bring their kids in there if they're well behaved. I'm just saying, like for me, I'm not bringing my kids into La Cava. I'm certainly not bringing them into Abracadabra. But there are lots of different places that you could do stuff that are adult friendly, dinner and drinks. And you could even do, I'll throw this out there too. You can do like the pub crawls. So like the monorail pub crawls and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my number 2 is to just have a night where you have a splurge type dinner and drinks at a lounge or at a really nice restaurant. So
my number 1 is a place in the parks that generally is not a fan favorite for kids, and that is World Showcase. So one of my favorite things that I've done, and I've done this with kids and without, is a few years ago, my wife and I together did a day of Epcot, just the two of us, and we did Festival of the Holidays. And we looked at the entire menu, and there's a lot. I mean, you go from country to country, and you can have all these different options. And so we looked at the menu, and we said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We have all these snack credits that we're going to use up. So we could use, that's back when they had the dining plan. Mm-hmm. You could use your snack credits for all the different things, the little mini things at the festival. So we're like, all right, we are going to kill all these snack credits.
Yeah.
So we did. It was great. So we took the menu, looked through, circled everything that was gluten-free, and it was not a lot, maybe a fifth of the menu.
Right.
And we said, all right, we're gonna eat all of it. This is gonna be fun. So we spent time going from booth to booth, trying all the different things. And then once we got through, my wife says, we got to go back. She wanted this. It was like turkey, and it was like this turkey dinner with cranberry and mashed potatoes thing that she really liked, which was part of the American Pavilion. And she loved it. She goes, we got to go back. So we did. We went back. And so that's kind of the fun of it, is if you can try all the different things and then you figure out which one was really good. And if you have time, go back and grab it again.
A couple years ago, I had a pig ear salad. I know that sounds horrible, but it was phenomenal. So yeah, I totally agree with you that it's not number one on my list, but
we loved it. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. We spent most of the day just kind of going slow around the park and that's kind of part of it too, is just taking time to not race around and to just enjoy it, take it all in, because so many of the different Disney trips with kids is, okay, next ride, get some food, next ride, go to the bathroom, and it's just kind of how you roll in Disney sometimes.
Well, I think
this was a different feel. This is nice.
Yeah, I think that what you're saying there makes sense, because what happens is you know that your kid's trip isn't going to be great, in their eyes. I mean, it's always going to be great, but if they can't ride that ride, right? So you want to make sure you get to that ride. And then once you ride that one, well, now they need to ride that one, and they need to ride that one. And that's one of the things that I think I love the most about being a DVC member, is that I know I'm always going to be back. And so as a result, I don't feel that rush anymore. I think that the festivals provide so much for those with dining, dining restrictions, because, you said something, you're like, it wasn't a lot. It was only like 1/5. Think about the last time you were at a restaurant that wasn't a gluten-free specialty restaurant that had 20% of their menu was gluten-free. Yeah.
Unless it's a lot of the sort of world restaurants like Indian or Thai or Chinese food or Mexican, it's less bread based. But if you're talking about a traditional American menu restaurant, right? It's very little.
Right. So like, you're not driving down the road to go to the restaurant and expecting to see 1/5 of the stuff be gluten free. So the fact that you're able to do that is quite amazing. I think too that doing that with your loved one, whether it be, as a date night, or maybe it's two brothers or a brother and sister, or, a family, like it's all adults celebrating an anniversary, like you had mentioned you were doing.
Or a friend in his honeymoon.
Yeah. Like, I think it's so amazing that Epcot has pretty much a festival year round now. And good on them, right? It's why people go. It's why people love Epcot. It's because it's the festival place.
And they do them at California Adventure too. I don't want to get too in the weeds about California Adventure, but I know that they do festivals there. I'm not sure what.
It's not nearly like they do at Epcot.
Right. I'm curious if they're going to have one in April or not. I guess we'll see.
I mean, Epcot takes like a 2-week break, I feel. But yeah. So my number one is kind of a cop-out, okay?
Why?
Because my number one is something that I haven't yet been able to do kid-free. Something I want to do.
Sure.
And that is just literally enjoy the parks as if you're a kid. You know what I mean? See the parks again through the eyes of, like, go there and do your thing, right?
Mm-hmm. And you're not guided by, but I want this.
Exactly. So I want a day.
That's a good point.
Like, so my number one is, you're at Disney, right? Enjoy the parks. I know that's a cop-out, but
not really. It's basically you're changing your point of view.
So the whole reason behind this episode, we got a few comments a few weeks back about when I said, hey, what episodes would you like us to do? And we got a couple of people who said, how about doing date nights? And I was like, what if we just do kids-free days?
Yeah, because that's where this could be.
Right, yeah. So that's when this came up. And I think what I found as I was researching this and as I was going through and kind of putting my list together was we make too much of a deal out of having it be kids-free, right? It doesn't have to be any different. It can just be the same, but without your kids. And so why try to artificially make these things, do the, drink around the world, do the dinners and stuff, when instead you can just go and enjoy the darn park as an adult, right? So, think about how freeing it is to just not have to be told, like you say, I want to ride this ride, I want to ride this ride, I want to ride this ride. And look, my kids don't annoy me. They would allow me to do the park in the direction I want.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to get off of Big Thunder, look at my app and realize, oh my gosh, like Space Mountain's a 10-minute wait. Let's walk over there. I'm not doing that with my kids because it's a long walk, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's just me and my wife, I might do that.
Let's go here. It's an adventure.
Yeah. Or if I've got a park hopper and I'm over at Hollywood Studios and I get off of Slinky Dog and I realize, I really want to go over to Animal Kingdom. Why? I don't know. I just want to see some animals.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Right? Just going, it's freeing to not be tethered to plans and tethered to, I need to get this done to make my child's vacation complete. And so for me, number one is just stop, slow down, enjoy the park. It doesn't have to be difficult. Don't make it something it doesn't need to be, right? You don't need to make it a big date night. You don't need to do something super special. You don't need to do a backstage tour. Just go to the park and enjoy it without your kids. Mm-hmm. And I think when you do that, you'll find that why you fell in love with this place, right?
Yeah.
You will free yourself to be a kid again. And so in a way, you'll be with kids, but it'll be you.
Yeah. You're the big kid.
Yeah, you're the big kid. And I think that, to me, don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be a big production for a kid's free day. Just go to the parks and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But what do you think?
Sounds great. I just know that the one time I got to do this was a lot of fun, and it was exactly that. It was laid back and relaxed, and the day we did Epcot by ourselves, we were walking around, and our kids have always said, I hope we run into Tim Tracker. So people listening, Tim Tracker's he's a YouTuber he's always at Disney. And
I'm guessing if they're listening to us, they probably have found Tim Tracker at some point.
If you haven't, check out Tim Tracker on YouTube. And we were walking around the park, and we ran into Tim Tracker and said hello and got our picture taken with him. He was really nice. And we get back to my aunt's house, and the kids go, how was it? And we were like, oh, it's great. We had a good time. And just kind of walked around Epcot. No big deal, playing it down. And then we're like, well, we kind of ran into Tim Tracker. What? You did? So we showed him the picture, like, no, I want to meet Tim Tracker. And then the great ending is 2 years later, we're walking around Disney Springs, and we run into Tim Tracker, all four of us with the kids. So
that's great.
Kids got to meet Tim Tracker.
That's
too.
Awesome.
He was very nice. Yeah. Both times, accommodating, took a picture with us. Didn't talk to him forever. Just said, "Love the station. Can we get a picture?" And let him go. Yeah. Don't bug him. He's a nice guy.
So do you have any honorable mentions left?
I don't. I don't, because honestly, anything you could really interpret as doing without the kids. Yeah. So I think like your number one was perfect, because it's like, enjoy anything you want to do, just look at it in a different lens.
Yep.
So really anything I say now is similar, can fit under that umbrella. Yeah. So I think that's great. So your number one being that is perfect. And, mine's a little bit more specific, but
no, I think yours is great.
It was probably one of my favorite Disney memories, and I just really enjoyed that day. Yeah. And it wasn't, not because my kids weren't there, but just being able to go slow and have like a fun goal to eat everything from the different places.
I want to eat all the gluten-free stuff that I can eat.
And that was an attainable goal.
Right, yeah.
Eat from every, I don't know. It depends on how much room is in your stomach, but ours was enough to just kind of like take our time and eat little by little. And it was awesome. It was so much fun.
So the one thing I would add to my list that's honorable mention, I would say I was going back and forth whether to even have it on my list. Something I've never experienced, but it's something I would like to, and that is one of the boat rentals. So so doing a boat rental or a fireworks cruise, I think would be amazing. It's not something I would do with my kids. I'm not going to, you can, obviously, but it's just not something that I don't think that would appeal to my children, that, oh, look, there's Magic Kingdom, but we're on a boat. So it's something I would like to do, whether it's over at, Magic Kingdom resorts or over, Boardwalk Beach Club area. Either way, I would like to try that sometime.
I did think of one. I thought of this the other day, and I didn't write it down on my list because this is not something that I do. But when I was younger, and we stayed with my aunt and uncle and cousins, my uncle's a big golfer.
Oh, yeah.
So my uncle would go and golf. Mm-hmm. And I think my aunt would go with him too. But I don't know, maybe my dad went. My parents aren't big golfers. They like pickleball and stuff like that. But I know my uncle would go and golf. And I'm not sure if it's open, it's public. I know it's like kind of next to the Magic Kingdom, kind of on the west side there.
Yeah, but there's a couple different places, but yeah, if you go I agree. I mean, that's a great one. I didn't put it on my list mostly because
you golf more than I do.
Well, yeah, I golf, but
I've only golfed. I can count on one hand the number of times I've golfed.
For me, I love going golfing early in the morning up here in New York because it's cool and it's not going to get too hot. And it's always hot in Florida. So for me, that's not something that's on my list, but it's definitely like something. It's really nice golf courses too. And there's multiple. So yeah.
Now anybody can go. Do you have to be like a guest at a Disney resort?
That I don't know. I don't think you do.
Let's say you live in Winter Garden, Florida.
No, yeah, you can.
Anybody can go.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not cheap, but golf isn't. I mean, it's not. It's not much more expensive than going to like Myrtle Beach and over like a spring break and golfing, which is also really expensive. So,
I bet.
Anytime you start golfing in the South, it ends up being kind of expensive. But yeah, I think that was a good one too. So I would like to say once again, if you could please go check out at Podcast Mics for Magic. And help them out in their quest to raise $50,000 for the Children's Hospital of Orange County. If you could do that, that would be great because I'm telling you, it's a great cause and they're two amazing people. So please go check them out. That's my call to action for you this week. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.